Hide, 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 hide. Hide, 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 hide. Hide, 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 hide. Hide, 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 hide. The beginning of Passover will begin a process of 49 days that we know is called the Omer. And the 49-day period, beginning the second night of Passover, beginning Thursday night, so Thursday night, Friday of this week is the first day, and then moving on all the way until the holiday of Shavuot, the receiving of the Torah, is really meant to be a time of spiritual purification, a time of character development, a time of really inner focus and attention to begin to allow ourselves to be a vessel to receive a new Torah this year. And the reason that the Torah is called an Eitz Chaim, a tree of life, is because it's alive, it's living, it's renewing, it's always present, which is to say that new awareness, new insight, new revelations of the nature of reality, of presence, of God is always unfolding. And the real work that each of us does on this journey is how we can be the vessel to receive as deeply as possible that awareness, the awareness of the incredible miracle that we're a part of, the connections that we're a part of, and a greater understanding of who we are and our place in it. So each day, each week, let's say, each week of the Omer of 7 weeks from Passover to Shavuot is a focus on a particular midah or sphira, a particular quality that we work on being able to purify and put our attention on. Now, these midot, the word midah or midot means measure. So there's a numerical sense to it, as is the word sphira or sphirot, which is in Kabbalah, these emanations of God, which is also a word that means number, a sphira. And so it's very interesting that when the mystical tradition talks about the emanations of reality of God, that it's talking about it in a measured way. It's talking about it in a conceptual way, in an idea way, in a number way. And this kind of quality is really that the Kabbalists taught that, we can't talk about or focus on the infinite presence of God. It's just too much. So the way that we come into relationship with it is to focus on emanations or qualities of God. And these midot or sphirot that we explore one each week of the Omer period is really, there is nothing tangible in it of itself. It's a concept, it's an idea, it's a lens to look at reality. And we can look at reality from the lens in a cosmic way. We can say, how do I understand a part of the dimension of the world as it is around me? Or we can look at it as far as ourselves. We can look at ourselves and say, what's this particular midah or aspect in ourselves that we want to purify? Okay, so that's midot, that's sfirot. And what we are going to begin on, and every Tuesday that we have our meditation and spiritual practice session here, we're going to focus on the different midah for the week, so that we can stay in the cycle of the Omer and be able to work on this, use this sacred time in a really helpful way. So the first week, the coming up, beginning again on Thursday night, is the midah, the sphira of chesed. And chesed, some of us know, translates as into loving kindness. And loving kindness is a way to really try to humanize that experience of this energy of creation. But on really a cosmic way, chesed is describes best that aspect of life and creation that is about generosity, outflow, giving. And the deepest way to talk about chesed is the fact that existence itself is an expression of chesed. Not only an expression, the ultimate expression of chesed. Everything that we have right now, our breath, our body, this technology, everything around us is conceived of by the tradition as an act of kindness, as an outflow, as a generous kind of giving of the Creator in this moment. And a lot of times we don't think about things that way. We don't necessarily think about that, wow, just breathing, just being is an expression of chesed, is an expression of givingness, outflow from the Creator. So as we reflect on all the different aspects of chesed, and what I'll say is that each one of the midot have within it all of the other midot. They're like holograms, where a hologram is not only is a whole thing in itself, and it reflects all the different parts of creation of life. So within chesed is all of the other midot that we're going to explore through the Omer. Gevurah, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, Malchut. Nothing you have to worry about right now. If this is a language that you're used to or that you're familiar with, you can take that in. If not, don't worry about it. Right now, our focus is just chesed. And each day of the Omer is a different aspect of chesed, is a different quality in there. And there are some apps. I will try to send some stuff on and different things that you can, if you're interested and really keen in on all the different days and the subtleties of the days, you can do that. But for now, it's just about chesed. It's just about creation, life, existence. This moment is a gift, and that's really the focus of our meditation. So let's go back to that nigun, and then right from the nigun, we'll go into some silence. I'll give some instruction for our meditation for first 5-10 minutes, and then we'll be able to sit together quietly. Yadadai, dai, dai, yai, dai, dai. Yai, dai, dai, yai, dai, dai. Yadadai, dai, yai, dai, dai, dai. Yai, dai, hai, hai, dai, dai. Yai, dai, dai, yai, 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 dai, dai. Yai, dai, yai, yai, dai, dai. Yai, dai, yai, yai, dai, dai. Yai, dai, yai, yai, dai, dai. So begin by just bringing your attention right to this moment, noticing the movement of breath as it moves through your nostrils or your mouth, the way the body expands to make room for the inhale, the moment where the inhale switches over into an exhale and the contraction of the body with the exhale. And then follow again the inhale as it moves up through the body again. For these moments, be an observer of breath, making the decision to be present for one full cycle of inhale and exhale, noticing all the sensations in the body as the chest or the belly expands on the inhale and the contraction as the air goes out to the exhale. And then when you finish that cycle, make another decision to be present for another breath. Really relishing the opportunity to be right here with the movement of breath, to feel its life-giving energy, to feel its fullness. You don't have to alter the breath in any way, no need for deep breathing particularly, but just allowing yourself to be present and aware with the fine details of the experience of breathing. And becoming aware as you are attentive to your breath, becoming aware of your body in space, the contact of your bottom on the chair, your feet on the floor, the distance between the bottom of your spine and the top of your head, the space between your ears, the way that your arms hang out of your shoulder sockets and the resting place of your hands. Just breath, just body sensation. You can also be aware of sounds that are around in your house or outside. Allowing all aspects of the moment to be present. And really, in these moments of paying attention to what's here, the invitation is to let existence in this moment be enough. Be enough. Not only to just let it be enough, but to receive all the aspects of this moment as a gift, as chesed. And that's not a mental concept. It may start as a mental concept to take our experience of this moment and try to frame it in our minds as a gift. But ultimately, the mental concept is a tool to bring us into a receptive posture. It's a tool to allow us to relate to this moment in a way that is connected, in relationship, receiving, and being deeply nourished. You can notice it and shift your posture in yourself to receive breath and all the sensations in our body, whether we label them as pleasurable or uncomfortable, but to just receive it as a gift. To be aware that we are being given to in this moment. That we are a part of this grand expression of chesed. And that everything around us, the sounds around us, everything is also a gift of existence, a gift of the Creator. In orienting ourselves towards the moment in this way, we completely allow ourselves to be a vessel, to be filled up. Every part of the moment is filling us up, is flooding into us with energy, with life. And that potential for every moment to flood us with energy and life is always there. It's just whether we shift our attention, our posture in a way that allows us to receive it. With this orientation towards the moment, there is no distraction. Everything is part of the gift. And I'm gonna be quiet for a little bit and let us breathe and be together in the silence, continuing to orient our hearts, our attention towards being with this moment, as receiving the gift of every part of existence. And when we find our minds contracting, as they will do, as they focus and contract on this thought or this sensation, as soon as you notice that your vision, your inner vision has limited, has contracted, just open up. Don't push away what it's been contracted, but instead just open up beyond it to the fullness of the moment. And again, orient your heart towards receiving the gift. And again, a reminder that this is a practice. It's a practice to continue to orient our hearts and our attention in this way of receiving existence in this moment. So I'll be quiet now and we can practice together. So two more things that I'd like to offer around chesed as we think about it for this coming week in our meditation and in our lives. And then have an opportunity for those who want to stay on a little bit and either ask any questions, clarifying questions or comments. So the first is that bringing this attention on chesed into our meditation it's really foundational as far as every meditation goes, in that what we're doing here is we are opening to being recipients of chesed as opposed to being givers of chesed. Usually when we think about focusing on loving kindness or outflow or whatever, especially during this week of the Omer, we think about how can we be generous of heart? How can we be giving? How can that happen? But in the meditation here, there's an intention to just receive existence itself in this moment. And why this is foundational is to be able to be with what is right here is what we're practicing, right? We're practicing being able to fully be with and embrace what's here. And there are so many ways in order to be present with what's here without agenda, without any of it. And one of those is the intention, the kavanah, that we are being given a gift, that every part of this moment is a gift. So when we orient towards the moment as a gift, there is maybe a little more attention, receptivity, willingness to be present, willingness to engage. So that's where the practice comes. We are the recipients of the gift in our meditation. In the rest of the week too, in focusing on chesed and all the different days, and I'm going to share in a moment some tools, but we focus on being the gift, being that expression in all the different ways that we are. And here, I guess the one fundamental piece that I'm hoping we can hold on to and bring forward is that just as in the moment, we let not only our awareness of what's here right now be enough, we allowed it to be a gift. And for us, so much of the time, we think that we have to do something in order to be that gift to others in the world. And certainly, there are so many ways we can express ourselves and do to be a gift. But what if we really considered that who we are without having to do anything is the gift to all those around us. I know this can go against so much of our own kind of self-judgment, self-criticism, all this kind of stuff. What do you mean I'm the gift? What do you mean I don't have to do anything to be a gift? What do you mean my presence itself is just a gift? But yes, that is the truth here. That is existence. Just as you were aware of breath, body, all of those things as a gift, so each one of us, just very nature of being here right here is a gift to anybody who's able to receive it. And hopefully, we surround ourselves with people, that are able to receive who we are as a gift, that we don't have to do X, Y, and Z in order to be a gift in their lives. And we get that reflection back here and there, I love you just the way you are, But that's really, so that's another piece that we get to as we come through this first week of Passover, is to, and focus on chesed, is to just reflect on, I don't have to do anything to be the gift. So I'm gonna invite anybody who would like to unmute yourself and either share anything about any questions or clarifications about this as a meditative practice, taking this in, or anything that this triggers for you. Yes, Sari.
I was just interested if you could forward to us any of the apps because it would be cool while we have so much time to follow this for the next so many days,
Yes.
especially during quarantine. I think that would be a nice thing for a daily intention.
Absolutely. So what I'll tell you is, first of all, if you go onto your app store on your phone or whatever your device is, you will see, if you type in Omer or Omer counter, there will be lots of stuff that will come up.
Okay.
What I will say is one of my favorites is Chabad. Chabad has a wonderful Omer counter. I feel like each one of the thoughts, they have really a quote from the Rabbi for each day. And each one of those quotes is connected to the sphera, to the particular combination in some way. But it's not like overly analytical. It's somewhat poetic, usually the quote that's given. It's none of for those of you, if anybody has any Chabad averseness because of the orthodoxy or the non-pluralisticness or whatever, none of that's going to come into your experience of the app. It's going to be really, if you find so that's what my recommendation would be. There are the Musar Institute, which this is not an app, but this is a website. You can look up the Musar Institute and you can sign up to get in your inbox every day of the Omer, a thing on the Sphira. So, type in maybe on the search on the Musar Institute, and their piece is not, I notice it's not so, they have a focus every day of the Omer. It is on midot, on character qualities that we can focus on, not so much connected to the sphira and the combination of the sphirot of the day. So you're not going to really get that there, but each gift for the day will be a worthwhile place to put your attention. So that's
there's a ton of options. There's too many options. So would you say Omer Count Chabad is the one to go to?
I like that one. And again, if you share with me any of the other options, and I know any of them.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
I'll do it later, but if you come across it, please email it.
I will. On all of you guys, I'll do that right when we get off the call. I'll look on the particular piece. Some of them are, are apps. Some of them are emails in your inbox, for sure. And what you can do is, what I would recommend is you can download. You can do a few. You can download a few, and get a few different things for each day, and you can follow them for a few days and see which one you like, which is doing, and then you can delete the ones that you don't like and just have, so great. Thank you.
Rabbi, there's a really great website called My Omer.
Okay.
And that's the one that I've always used, and it's really very basic, very simple, but it was recommended by Chabad.
Okay. Wonderful. And if it was recommended by Chabad, then it might actually be, we'll see, but the stuff that's on the website, it may be the same as the app version, just different ways to get it.
Yeah, it's called My Omer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you, Norma.
Sure, no problem. It's nice to be able to share.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Nice to see you. Yes, Gail.
So, Rabbi, what I really found helpful this time was when you said, if something comes into your awareness, contract it and expand around it.
Yes.
That was because what I've heard is treat it kindly, give it space, but I've never heard it put like you just put it, and it was very, very helpful. So thank you for that.
Wonderful. You're welcome. And I'm glad you brought that up, Gail, because just, sure, like a lot of us, we've exposed ourselves to lots of different meditative practices, lots of ways to work with the mind, lots of ways to work with all of this. And what I've really, really found over the years, it just has continued to come back. What we become what we practice. We become what we practice. So even going ahead and if we are meditating in a way that we experience something as a distraction, and we have a choice of what we want to do with that distraction, right? You can try to let it go. You can push against it. You can, as you said, treat it lovingly, and we become what we practice, right? So how we deal with ourselves, those distractions in our minds as they come up, and what we practice there will translate into, over time, how we deal with life and the things outside of ourselves. This particular way of saying, you know what, there is no distraction. There is no distraction. The goal, in a sense of meditation, is not to have our minds in one place and not have it go to another place. Because if that's my goal, if that's what I'm going to do, then all the time in life, I'm going to have places where I'm going to want to put my attention, and something else is going to bug me, annoy me, get me out of there, right? So even if I'm working in my meditation around trying to deal with those distractions that are out there, as in a loving way or in a kind way or in whatever, it's still on a fundamental level, my relationship to it is still that it's a distraction. It doesn't warrant my full attention. So the idea here to say, you know what, we want to be present and be open with all that is in our current field of awareness. There are no distractions. God is unfolding in everything. Everything is an expression of chesed and all of that. So if that's the case, then there's no distraction. There's just different ways that our awareness will relate to reality. And so the question here with this contraction and expansion, which I appreciate your comment on, is yes, our awareness will contract on certain parts of reality, but that doesn't mean that we have to define that as a distraction. Instead, what it just means is I'm going to open up to the fullness of my experience that includes this thing that I just contracted around. I'm not going to push it away, because then if I'm doing that, if I'm working on that, then in the moment, and I'll speak very personally here, right, as probably a lot of you can relate, when chaos is in my house and the kids are, doing this, and I'm trying to go ahead and whatever, the attention in somewhat, yes, I do need to be able to set boundaries. And when we get into next week, Gevura, how we set boundaries to get things done is, but on a fundamental level, I don't want to ever relate to them as a distraction. I don't want to relate to them as a distraction, even if they're a distraction and I'm trying to be nice about it. I'm trying to, do it. It's still fundamental on some deep level in their being. They're going to experience my response or reaction, no matter how controlled, no matter how whatever it is as they are not their full selves in that moment to me. They are just a distraction that I'm having to manage. And so how do I, and that as we go through the Omer period, right, and begin to focus on the different qualities, next week being Gevura specifically, which is about boundaries, how do I set boundaries that I need to do, but on my heart of hearts, fundamental awareness that I'm expressing and experiencing, they are not a distraction in any way. So, yeah. All right. Well, yes, Lisa, last one, yeah.
So thank you for that, because I took the loving kindness, the chesed, and I applied it to myself in the meditation as my mind was contracting with all of my Passover preparations for this year, and how different it is for the first time ever in everyone's life, basically dealing with COVID-19 and all the restrictions, and how to prepare in whatever fashion you prepare for this holiday. And in my case, I really had to apply the loving kindness and say, it's okay, only do what you can do for this holiday. And it's okay if you can't do what you normally do, whether it's in preparing the house or how you're going to prepare your meals, or even the giant Zoom Seder that my extended family's doing. And for me to make Passover enjoyable for the three of us who are in the home, it's a huge struggle that I'm personally dealing with, and that really helped me to bring some of the loving kindness back into myself, especially since today I'm doing a lot of my prep work for the Zoom Seder tomorrow night.
Yes.
And so thank you for reminding me to be a little bit nicer to myself, and to say it's okay, what you're doing is enough. And also, second thing, I did the emails that are being sent out, I was curious. The last two that was sent out, it looks like you're about to share something with us. And then when I clicked on it, it was Canner Young singing. And I wanted to know, do you come on after her? Because It says in the email that you're going to share something as well.
We're both the recording is a Zoom recording of both of us. What was just strange about it is, even though we tried to set it for gallery view so that it would record, it would have both of our pictures there at the same time, even when one was speaking, it didn't do that. We still have to figure that out. So Cantor Young, yes, sings first, talks a little bit, I share something. Yeah, it's a message from both of us. And,
okay.
And really what you'll also, message that we just created that will come out on Wednesday, tomorrow morning, is really to what you're saying, Lisa, which is applying Dayenu to this Passover. Like whatever we do, it's enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's enough. And I guess part of, and I'm glad you're bringing it up, because I also have a mound of shopping and koshering dishes this afternoon, and lots of stuff. But that all of these, all the halachot, all the rituals and practices and all these things are meant to be tools. They're all tools to bring us to a place of awareness. If they stop being tools and instead become places of stress, then we've missed the whole point of them. We've followed these traditions, but to what end? So that we can put a little check mark and say, we did it, we did what we were supposed to do. And so that's where, yes, we get challenged in this time, because now everything looks different. And so that's where I just really hope all of our focus will be on, where is our awareness? How can this Passover be a time of expansive, of being present, of being connected to existence and family and all of those things, and to be willing to let things go and change and shift as far as the tools go in order to facilitate that awareness and not be a barrier to that awareness. I'm also gonna, working with that one also, where do the boundaries lessen? Where do I hold them? What's gonna allow what Passover is really about to be present?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so the last thing I want to share before we get off is that if you haven't seen it, there's one more wonderful offering. If you are willing to get up early, tomorrow morning on Erev Pesach at 7:30 a.m., I'm going to be doing a spiritual preparation for Passover. It's going to be a learning session, and there will, and kind of a virtual burning of chametz. And really, this is something that happens every year. Usually we gather in person, and where the impetus for it is that it's the custom for, if you're a firstborn, to fast during Erev Passover because of the firstborns that were thrown into the Nile and the firstborns that were saved and all of that. But there's a custom that if you do some learning in the morning, then your fast is exempt. So that has just become a tradition, whether you fast or you don't, or you're a firstborn or don't. We'll be kind of starting off early in the morning, kind of getting rid of our chametz spiritually, doing a little bit of learning from 7:30 to 8:30, and all that information is on the website. So maybe I'll see some of you. All right.
All right.
Everybody.
Bye.
Good to
Thank
see
you, Rabbi.
Bye-bye.
Happy
Everybody.
Passover.
Happy Passover. Healthy, beautiful. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.